What's going on, beautiful people? It is hot. It is hot in this room. I had to turn it off so you guys can actually hear me. So I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible because I'm also gonna make this in 2 parts. Right now I'm gonna be talking about basically the misconceptions and how I came to the realization that I actually can have biological children. When I started testosterone, so this is a little backstory right here. When I started testosterone, I just turned 15. This was December 15th, 2016. I want to say, yeah. So I had just turned 15. I was gonna do it when I will start hormone replacement therapy, aka testosterone. I was gonna do it when I turned 14, but they wanted me to wait till I was 15. So I just lived another year socially out, and that was the dealio. So anyways, I remember they had told me when I turned 15 that if I wanted to extract my eggs to have egg freezing preservation, then they would do that, but it would take some more time and also prolong the whole beginning of my testosterone journey. At that time, I was not in the greatest mental space for me to wait any longer, especially after waiting, because at first they said, oh, you can start when you're 14 in 3 months. So I waited 3 months, and it was like, oh, actually wait another month or so. I waited another month, and it was like, wait 2 more months. And then I was like, what's the deal? And then they were like, wait till you actually turn 15. So as you can see with that whole wait, when I was promised it earlier, I was like, I want the testosterone now. I don't want to wait anymore. And we don't even know what, you know, the outcome could be in a couple years, not a couple years, like when I'm grown, and you know, the egg preservation, and also that's the other financial cost that we didn't consider or think of at that time. So it was like, now you're talking about some unknown bills that wasn't on the forefront of our minds at any time in this journey when we first were talking about starting hormone replacement therapy. Yeah, so basically what was told to us was that if we didn't do this, then the future for my biological children was practically not here, or there, whichever time frame you want to use. But so I basically came about the last couple of years convinced that I was going to adopt, or my significant other, she would probably have sperm donor, and you know, it was very saddening at first because I was just like, dang, like this is my life, like I'm not gonna have no bio kids. So I would be like, you know, I'd shit on my health a little bit. I'd be like, you know what, I ain't have the best genes anyways, you know, and all that good stuff. And I remember I had a friend who's also transgender, and he was telling me, he started after me, he was telling me about how he wanted to have bio kids. And the whole time I'm just thinking like, yo, who's gonna tell him? Like, who's gonna break the news that this man cannot have bio children, bio as in biological. So I didn't say anything, but then I'm like, why would no one tell him? And I believe I had opened up the line of conversation, just like, dude, you can't have bio kids. And that's okay. You know, it took me a little bit to mourn. I make jokes of it now, like, oh, can't have kids, have to adopt, and there's nothing wrong with adopting. You know, I'm very set on that still. Like, I want to adopt children. I believe that's a really good service for kids. So I was just like, this is the best thing, honestly. And he just looked at me like, bro, are you living in like, what's it called, caveman years, stone age years, whatever? And he told me basically that we could, and then we would have to be off testosterone and da. So when I did my own research and I had asked a little bit more, and this is still a couple years ago, I was told, or I found online, you have to be on testosterone for like a year. And after being on testosterone probably like 3 or 4 years at that time, I was just like, I cannot even imagine myself being on testosterone, period, especially for a year. And I didn't know what effects would like wither away, or I know there's certain things that are permanent, period. Like my voice, that's permanent. The hair that has grown in certain regions, permanent, like the thickness and stuff. So there's like little nuances and stuff. Whatever. I need some water. Turning off these 2 fans was the badass idea. Anyways, I'm talking to, as you guys know, I'm going to have phalloplasty, and I'm going through the hair removal process currently. But we had to have a one-on-one meeting with the person that actually does the hysterectomy. So before you can have phalloplasty, you have to have a hysterectomy. And then the other word I had mentioned numerous times before, but I cannot pronounce. I'll put the word somewhere. Boom. Anyways, and that's optional. But I basically opened up candidly, asking, "Hey, my friend had mentioned this before. Is this true? Because when I first started testosterone, I thought it was one and done. Either you did it at this age, at this stage, before I started testosterone, or you can't do it at all." Because she had asked, when they ask you a series of questions to make sure of your mental state and, you know, all that, she had said, "Do you see," I'm looking at my notes by the way, "do you see yourself having a family? Do you imagine children? And are they biological?" And that's when I was like opening up that line of communication saying, biological. Is that even possible? My friend had mentioned it before, but I didn't even see it to be true because I was taught otherwise. And she basically was very happy to be the one to educate me and say, this is a beautiful example of how trans health, trans care has evolved and developed over the years. Freezing eggs is an option. Egg retrieval is an option, with actual genetic, capacities, from you as the host donor site or whatever. And I basically just said, again candidly, that I didn't know how to explore this new option that I, for the last 5 years, didn't know was an option. Like I said, this is 5 years. I'm practically 20 at this point. So 5 years, and I was convinced something that really changes your entire life, the course of your life. You can't say it don't change your life, because you know damn well when people got kids, everything about them pretty much changes. She said that they historically used to think that the testosterone sterilized the eggs, but there was no data for that. It was just a patriarchal idea / concept that the clinicians basically just went with. So they would take the ovaries out of everyone, is what she had said. And in the last 10 years, they decided to revisit this idea and actually do some more investigating, research, and, trials. And trials on what the ovaries actually do. And while the host is on T, so like, let's say me for an example, while I'm on testosterone. I don't know if I like this angle. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So sorry, guys. This is... Alright. While the host is on testosterone, they more... I would say... I want to use her exact words, but I want to keep it in people talk so you guys can like actually get a gauge or understanding of what I mean by this. But basically that they have a fair amount of data, so enough to draw good, great medical conclusions or medical hypotheses, but not enough to basically say hundreds and thousands of people, because they haven't been able to test hundreds and thousands, but more or less, more definitely, more like thousands and thousands of people to say that on testosterone, the ovaries just become dormant, right? So that's period. On testosterone, your ovaries are dormant. And they're just not ovulating as much. A little could break through, but for someone that is on testosterone, as frequent as hormone replacement therapy is, there is nothing to experience when it comes to any ovulation, right? So from data, as you come off testosterone and utilize those eggs for retrieval or to be the actual person to undergo pregnancy, and when I say for retrieval, I mean like you retrieve the eggs and then put it in your significant other or whomever you wish to have those eggs be fertilized and used and etc. So from data from those that utilize their own eggs for pregnancy, it has not shown any increased bad outcomes for those children or for the actual host, aka you or me or whomever, the person that is on testosterone that is being put off testosterone to have the pregnancy. And this is so far 10 years of data that this is being of the conclusion or the medical hypothesis. So far they can say that there's no increase in any health detriment, but they cannot conclude for anything like within 60 years because it hasn't been 60 years, which is obviously valid, and that's simply because the research is still fresh, honestly. But not gonna get into anything political either. And to compare the egg retrieval process to others that are not on testosterone, so cisgender women, right, who undergo pregnancy or yada yada yada. So to compare the egg retrieval process from someone that is on testosterone to compare to someone that is not on testosterone, so a cisgender woman, there is not virtually any difference practically. And it doesn't matter how long you've been on testosterone. So this is the punchline. It doesn't matter how long you've been on testosterone. What we are fighting against is mother time, right? So basically, yeah, is mother time, yeah. So for egg quality and quantity, the fertility is just chilling in you as a young adult, right, to your adulthood. And it begins to decrease by like the age of 35. Then menopause would happen around like 40 to 45. So basically you're still on the same time frame, time zone, time stamp as a regular cisgender woman, right? So if you're on testosterone and you're 21 years old, clinicians, whatever, they will see it as the same as a cisgender 21-year-old that has 21-year-old ovaries and 21-year-old ovaries that are whatever, yeah, practically the same. It's consistent. So at the age of 40 and you're on testosterone, and then someone that's on who's the age of 40 that's not on testosterone, the fertility would still be practically the same, right? Because it's based on your natural born time frame. But they have noticed that there's a slight difference when it comes to quantity, but nothing nearly significant enough as like I'm not good at numbers, but like a 1:50 ratio. Like it's nothing crazy like that. And I don't want to give you numbers of what it would possibly be like, because I'm also not sure. I'm not the medical professional. I wouldn't know. She said it was the slightest, whatever, littlest, whatever. So basically, it's still very prevalent in your system of the quantity, but they have noticed there's a slight difference on the quantity. But there's nothing to be seen to be damaged in any way. So there's no rush, basically, what she's telling me, to extract the ovaries. There's no rush to freeze them. There's no rush for conservation of any sort. And what I had asked her after that, because not the best when it comes to the actual visualization of what is, I don't know if this is a word, anatomically there and what is necessary for one surgery to the next, because in my mind, when I was thinking about the hysterectomy, I kind of saw it as the same as the umtamakum. I'll put the word up, where I thought they extracted the ovaries and also did whatever the histo does. But she had said that basically the histo and the phalloplasty does not touch your ovaries, so they can just chill there until you physically want them out, or maybe that's never. But if you did want them out and you wanted to go through the whole process of the pregnancy or the egg retrieval, you would stop testosterone, but not forever like I originally was told, or not for a year, for like the way I looked up, but it would be for about 3 or so months. And you would also take hormones that would boost the egg stimulation, just to be safe. Not even to be safe, just to increase the chances, right? Not like you're in a bad position or anything, but like, hey, do it if you can, right? And since there's no uterus, you won't bleed. Your voice, hair, and other permanent things after testosterone will still be prevalent in your body. Like, it's still, my voice will not change, and other things. So there's no concerns there either. And if you had a double mastectomy, like top surgery, like I did, if there is any remaining tissue, it might swell, but it's not wild, crazy. You're not gonna get full. You're not gonna develop full-on boobs or anything like that, breasts. And they would retrieve the eggs through the abdomen. It's not as good at. Okay, I'm sweating bullets. I hope you can see this. This is all for you guys. It's been 20 minutes or so now, and I gotta go to the bathroom. Anyways, they would retrieve the eggs through the abdomen, which is not as good as the vagina, because it's always usually through the vagina, but abdomen works. And basically, to paint the picture. Oh, I ripped off my notes. And to paint the picture, the ovaries would hang out on the sides of the pelvis. It's not attached to the uterus, and has nothing to do with the general surgery. So, if I was to get the hysterectomy and I had asked her to also remove the eggs, right? The phalloplasty team would never even know that the eggs were removed or the eggs were still there, because there's no communication from one surgery to the other, because they have nothing to do with the same regions or functions, and et cetera, et cetera. And basically, when it comes to the health insurances, right, because I live in Massachusetts, she was like bragging a little bit, saying we do have one of the best insurances and cares of that sort. So there's not significantly as much worry if I was to go through with the egg preservation, freezing, and all that jazz. And I was like, just out of curiosity, if I didn't have insurance, right, what would the cost be like? And she said for the freezing, without any insurance, flat, no insurance, nothing, it would be $15,000 for the freezing. And she said, and if you were to store it, right, that would be $500 a year. Whoa, I feel like I'm gonna pass out, guys. So I think that's enough for this video, because I'm getting hot and I'm thirsty. But I hope this was very informational for you guys. The next video, I will talk more about the actual phalloplasty, and what was also told to me through her, of what she knows. But also just know I am not an expert. I'm not a professional. I was simply just being told, telling you guys what I've been told for the official newest research and all that jazz that actually is beneficial and helpful and actually applies and has been done with data this time around. So in terms of thoughts and feelings for myself, this is a new realm that I didn't even know I had to, or I could explore. So I'm going through all those feelings, emotions. I almost teared up a little bit when she said I could have my own biological children, but after shitting on my own genes for the last couple of years, trying to convince myself that I should have biological children, I'm like, damn, yo. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going through right now. Yeah, I can keep you guys posted with some more electrolysis updates. Just let me know if you'd rather see the continuance second version of this sooner, or I have an actual video. I don't know if I can post that, but I have an actual video of electrolysis going down. So, and then also pictures with that as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Please donate to the GoFundMe. I'll leave the link down, and I'll put a picture up right here. Thank you guys for letting me have all these sessions with the GoFundMe. A lot of this is coming out of my pockets, but then you guys have also donated so much generously, and I cannot even explain to you guys how much I am thankful. I'm forever grateful, and I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Beautiful people we are. You guys know how it goes. Love you. Deuces.